Deception always seeks agreement in love and relationships, in careers, and even in fame. See, you ever notice how deception doesn't just happen to you, it invites you. It doesn't break down the door, it knocks, it flatters, it whispers. Now, it needs your participation because every deception knows it can't survive without your agreement. See, every lie ever told was waiting on somebody to say okay. Every manipulation, every betrayal, every illusion, it all starts with a small yes. Not out loud, sometimes in quiet. Sometimes your silence signs the contract. Sometimes your fear signs it. Sometimes it's your hope that maybe this time they mean what they say. But the truth, deception doesn't need to be believed to work. It just needs you to entertain it. You ever felt that you ever felt that tug inside when something felt off but you ignored it? That's the moment. That's the second your spirit was screaming, don't agree. But deception isn't patient. But deception, I correct myself, it is patient. It studies our desires. It studies and learns our wounds. It imitates your healing. It knows to sound like God, look like love, and move like opportunity. That's why discernment hurts, because it doesn't just expose people, it exposes the parts of you that wanted to believe. It shows you how your hope, your own hope, was weaponized against you. And that's the heartbreak no one talks about. When you realize you didn't just get it deceived, you help build the illusion because you needed the comfort of the lie more than the sting of the truth. But here's the redemption. When you withdraw your agreement, the lie dies. That's the real spiritual warfare. It's not always angels and demons. Sometimes it's just a war between what's true and what's comfortable. You can't be deceived by what you don't want. Deception only survives where there's desire. So the question isn't who lied to me, it's what part of me needed that lie to feel safe. That's where your power lives. Because once you know that, you start recognizing deception before it ever knocks again. You stop needing validation from voices that only echo your weakness. You stop saying yes to what drains you. Deception needs agreement. Truth stands alone. Deception flatters you. Truth frees you. Deception adjusts to what you'll tolerate. Truth demands transformation. And baby, the moment you stop agreeing with the illusion loses its authority. The curse breaks. The mask falls. And what's left is you, unapologetic, awake, no longer seduced by the whisper of false light. So the next time deception comes dressed as destiny, ask it one question: who benefits from my yes? Because truth never needs to beg for your agreement, it only needs your alignment. And when you start living from truth, everything false falls away. Because deception can only live in spaces where you let it. Mm, you know what I've learned? In every part of life, love, career, even fame, deception never just happens. It asks. It needs your agreement to exist. That relationship that drained you, it didn't start toxic. It started with flattery, with someone who studied your softness, mirrored your dreams, and made you believe they were your mirror. But they weren't. They were your mask. And when you said maybe they'll change, that was the agreement. That's how deception gets in, through our need to hope. Love isn't supposed to feel like walking on eggshells, but deception knows how to make chaos feel like chemistry. It knows how to make you confuse being needed with being loved. And by the time you wake up, you've already signed your peace away. That's why your spirit gets quieter every time you stay in what drains you. because it's watching you agree to something it never wanted. And in your career, deception doesn't always wear villain's face. Sometimes it shows up as opportunity. That contract that felt wrong but looked right. That partnership that promised the world but cost your soul. See, deception loves ambition that's desperate. It knows how to wrap compromise in success. But the moment you trade your peace for position, you've agreed to a version of yourself you don't even recognize. Because the truth, success built on deception will always need another lie to stand. And fame will show you who you are when the applause fades. Because the same people who hype your image will vanish when you stop agreeing to their narrative. Deception and fame says, be everything, just not yourself. And some people chase validation so long that they forget how their own voice sounds. But real influence doesn't come from pretending, it comes from authenticity, the one thing deception can't imitate. So, whether it's love, career, or fame, remember this: deception can only move forward with your yes. You can walk away the moment you stop agreeing because truth doesn't manipulate you to stay, it invites you to be. And when you stop saying yes to what drains you and you start saying yes to your destiny, the real one, the one that doesn't require you to shrink, to fake, or to perform, just to be free. You ever notice how deception doesn't come into your life yelling? It comes whispering, I see you, I get you, I'll never leave you. And that's how it starts. Because deception doesn't just lie to you, it needs you to lie to yourself first. When you start saying things like, they just need time, they're not usually like this, that's just how they love. That's not compassion, that's agreement. That's you giving permission to be broken in the name of connection. See, deception studies your love language. It learns what you crave. It mirrors your heart until you think you found your reflection. But you didn't. You found your projection. And every time you ignore the knot in your stomach, every time you silence your intuition to keep the peace, you're signing a spiritual contract that says, I'll tolerate deception to feel loved. But here's the truth nobody tells you: love that requires self betrayal isn't love, it's bondage disguised as belonging. You cannot build intimacy on illusions because the moment you stop agreeing to play small, the mask falls. And that's when you see the real them. But more importantly, the real you, the one who forgot how powerful silence can be. So stop agreeing with pain and calling it patience. Stop agreeing with manipulation and calling it love. When you withdraw your agreement from the lie, the illusion collapses. You don't lose them, you reclaim you. And that's the kind of love deception can never imitate. In your career, deception doesn't always wear the face of evil. Sometimes it shows up as that dream job, the big offer, the next level. But here's the trick: it watches what you hunger for and then feeds you just enough to silence your discernment. It tells you this is your shot while quietly asking, how much of your soul are you willing to spend? Deception knows how to mimic progress. It'll make you believe your exhaustion is grind culture. That's your burnout. That your burnout is commitment. That compromising your peace is the price of success. And the whole time, you're applauded for your productivity, but punished for your boundaries. Sound familiar? Because the system will praise your sacrifice until you stop agreeing to be used. Then suddenly, you're ungrateful, hard to work with, difficult. But you have to ask yourself, what good is climbing the ladder if it's leaning against the wrong wall? What good is success that empties you from the inside out? Because deception thrives in silence. In those moments when you know this isn't it, but you say, maybe I'll get better after the next promotion. The lie needs your agreement. Success doesn't. The truth about your calling doesn't require compromise, it requires clarity. And once you stop agreeing with systems that profit from your depletion, you'll find out your purpose was never waiting on their approval. It was waiting on your no. Everybody wants to be seen, but not everybody's ready to be looked at, because fame doesn't just expose your talent, it exposes your agreements. See, deception and fame doesn't ask, are you gifted? It asks, can you perform peace while you're dying inside? It feeds off image, illusion, and identity confusion. And before long, you stop being a person and start being a product. The industry will teach you to trade authenticity for attention. It'll tell you, be more relatable, while scripting your every move. It'll tell you, be bold, while punishing you for being honest. And you'll start to believe that the applause means you're loved, when really, you're just agreed upon. Because deception doesn't need truth, it needs consensus. It needs followers. It needs the illusion of connection to mask the reality of control. But here's the part they don't tell you. The moment you start speaking truth, the lights feel different. The room gets quieter. People stop clapping. But your spirit starts breathing again, because you stopped agreeing to play a role that was killing your purpose. So in fame, remember this: deception wants your image, truth wants your essence. Deception wants followers, truth builds freedom. And when you stop agreeing with the illusion of being seen, you finally understand what it means to be known, not for what you project, but for what you carry. Because deception dies the moment authenticity lives. And you were never made to be a brand. You were made to be a voice. Thank you for visiting my channel. Hope to see you on the next one. Bye bye.